Step 1 in ordering a Hunkeedori is choosing the size that you want. Hunkeedori has 9 different sizes of traveler's notebooks. I'm going to show them to you opened up flat first so you can kind of see the comparison. This is the micro, the mini, A6, personal, B6, standard, extra wide, the A5, and the composition. A composition measures 10 1/4 tall by 16 3/4 wide. When it's folded over, it's still very big. This is the A5, and an A5 measures 8 5/8 inches tall by 14 inches wide. An A5 is much smaller than a composition, but it still holds the really large notebooks. The extra wide measures 12 1/2 by 9 inches tall. And the sizing on that compared to an A5, the A5 is wider and the extra wide is taller by just a little bit. So it's kind of a whole different size there. The next is the standard, and a standard measures 9 inches tall by 11 1/2 inches wide. And this is very similar to the extra wide because they're exactly the same height, just that the extra wide is 1 inch wider. So when it's folded in half, it's a 1/2 inch wider. You can use the same size inserts in an extra wide and fit more in there because of the width, or you can use completely different sizes of inserts in those. The next one is the B6. A B6 is 7 1/2 inches tall by 12 inches wide. This size really isn't even comparison to the next one because it's so much taller. Personal is the next size down. It's 7 1/2 inches tall by 10 inches wide, which makes this a tall, skinny notebook where the B6 is more like a square. They're the exact same height, the B6 and the personal, but the B6 is quite a bit wider. It's actually a full inch wider when it's closed. The next size we have is the A6, and an A6 measures 6 1/2 inches tall by 10 1/2 inches wide. It's not really like the personal size at all, but it is similar to the B6 in that it's the square, more of the square format than the tall format, just for a little bit smaller. This is the mini, and a mini is 6 inches tall by 10 inches wide, which is very similar to the A6 size. There's a 1/2 inch difference on the height and the width. You can see it more on the height, you can see the 1/2 inch difference there, but because it's folded in half, it's only a 1/4 inch difference on the width. The last is the micro, and the micro is 4 1/2 inches tall by 7 1/2 inches wide, and it's just very little. So you can see it's quite a bit smaller than the mini, not really even in the same family. So these are all the different sizes that you can get from Hunkeedori. There's lots of different uses for them, so just depending on how you want to use it is the size that you'll want to get.